Very good morning to all of you. It has really been a privilege to be associated with Karambhumi Foundation for last couple of years. And this year was again a pleasure to serve as an evaluator of these essays on a very relevant topic. I would just like to talk a little bit about the importance of such events to begin with. Before I get into the content, I had asked Dhulia ji, what do I talk about? So he said you have to talk about the evaluation process, the content in the essays, and some kind of guidelines for students. So, during the times we live in, I've been a journalist, we do not have many events which are basically aimed at triggering this debate and discussions and critical faculty in the mind of young students. And I could see that as I went through pages after pages, about around 47 to 50 copies, 3 hours, 2200 to 2500 words. I got a lot of insights into these very fertile and bubbling, dynamic, volatile minds. I will also come to my critique of what ought to be done. But before that, I think when the traditional forums of debate and discussions are turning into less meaningful, be it assemblies or parliaments, they're turning into a lot of noise and a lot of one-upmanship and less and less discussions on critical issues. When we are basically, taking the facts as they're given to us, we are just getting, information or a story or some kind of through media or whatever, and we're not exactly debating and discussions. If we talk about journalism, all of you know that journalism has also taken a back seat. Till a few years back, journalism was a very important forum for discussion and debate, which is very critical in a democracy. We cannot call ourselves a democracy unless there is churning, unless policy makers, apart from what they discuss in the parliament or assemblies, unless they get the feedback from civil society and civil spaces like universities, colleges, institutions, forums like this, where critical inquiry, which is shaped by the critical inquiry, and which should shape the policy making. So what is happening right now is that there's very little feedback. The whole process of feedback from public, which is the backbone of a democracy, is weakening and declining. Even the media, as all of you know that 9 o'clock news, when I was a student, 9 o'clock news used to be the main news. The whole family would wait for All India Radio for the news, or television, and the television came. Nowadays, 9 o'clock news has become one-man show. One anchor comes. There are definite given pro and anti speakers. They come, they quarrel, there is one-upmanship again, all kind of fights, and very little meaningful debate on a critical issues, other than trying to convert that debate into a line where you can politically harvest it in terms of votes. So that is what the debates and discussions, have been reduced to. It is in this context that I'd like to congratulate Karambhumi Foundation for initiating this thing, apart from, of course, instituting a very important award to a journalist. And I've been a journalist for a longer period of time of my life, so I'm talking a little bit more about it. And I have been part of one such selection also, that they're looking for journalists who are completely unsung. Nobody knows about them. All we know that 9 o'clock somebody is sitting and showing his face, and we call him a journalist, whereas he's just trying to compile something which has been collected elsewhere, or which is very easy to collect in the age of internet and social media these days. So, the journalism has been converted into some kind of worship of few anchors. In this context, Karambhumi Foundation is hunting and looking for a grassroots-based journalist. And the journalists that have been awarded so far, recognized so far, which wouldn't have been recognized otherwise, are the ones who have actually shaped the journey of this state in more than one ways, who have been part of this journey, who have documented various parts of the journey of the state, and the state is very new, and before the state came into being also. So they are all, Karambhumi Foundation is looking for such journalists. Similarly, holding this debate. Now I have my very senior colleagues here, both have legal backgrounds. One is an honorable judge, former judge. We know that the debate is very important, and more so for students of law. because a good argument wins always. It is a good argument that wins. So this debating competition where you are basically trying to speak for and against, but it is the ability to constitute an argument, and this is for students, and when I talk about it, I'm talking about all actually, that this is also they are inculcating through this. And then, this is not an easy task to organize this and to award and to have trophies and all that. This is a lot of meticulous hard work, students. The organizers have very noble thoughts. A lot of hard work goes into it. So I hope you also take these competitions and debates and writing competitions very seriously because their intentions are very genuine. So having said that, I will just go into a little bit of feedback which I've been asked on essays. I think most of you have tried to make an argument very passionately, a lot of emotions, but most of the times, many of you have, right. So the essay, yeah, exactly. The essay was India of My Dreams, which looks very simple actually. At the first sight, it appears very simple topic. But imagine India of My Dreams where you had to have a introductory part of it, a main body of the essay, which is like the backbone, and then logically going into concluding part. That was the structure, and the content part should have touched upon historical, social, cultural, political, and legal aspects of India, which is history, sociology, which is political science, which is law, which is past and present, and then looking into the future. India of My Dreams. Many of you have done very well. It is a very, in a way, a very complex topic also, and not very easy to cultivate such complex ideas and to weave them together into a compelling, argument and vision of India of My Dreams. You have tried. Congratulations. Secondly, I would like to say that there is of course winning and losing as it happens in courts and your law students, but I think you should keep in mind that participation is very important. And what if I have judged somebody or others have judged somebody first, second, and third on whatever evidence I had in front of me, that is not the final say. After all, the judgments of the lower courts are challenged in high courts, and high courts are challenged in Supreme Courts. So there is some amount of subjectivity involved. Computerized nahi, tarazu nahi hai judge ke paas कि exactly ये सही है. So even those who are not here and we have not found themselves in this list of first, second, third, and fourth, I think participating is very important. All of them deserve to be congratulated because they participated, and there is a lot of chance factor, luck factor. Maybe if there was somebody else in place of me, maybe he would have given, maybe the second would be first and first would be third. You never know, as it happens between honorable justices sitting here, as it happens in courts. So there is subjectivity involved. So participation is very important. So I congratulate all of you for participating in this. And what is also important is that understanding the importance of such processes. It was very difficult for all of you. But what has happened is that most of you have gone about the past, a lot of emotions, a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, a lot of glorification also, which is fine. A lot of talk about faith, civilization, faith, which is absolutely correct. But an essay, like an argument in the court of law, is about reasoning. Faith and reason are two different things, right? Faith is fine. Democracy doesn't run on faith. Democracy runs on reason and logic. Our institutions, courts, hospitals, universities, they run on the basis of reason, logic, rationality, not on faith. So faith is fine, very good. Prayer is fine, very good. I do that. And I want to give an example from my personal life here, that my mother was down with cancer last year. So of course we prayed, but we went for medical advice, And one regret that I have, Himanshu sir, for my life is, she suddenly one morning, went unconscious, and because she was unwell and it was a 4th grade cancer, so everybody around my family, my relatives, they thought that now time has come to go. So they started praying, Gaidan and all that. And I also did not go to doctor again. she survived for 24 hours like that. Finally, I took her to doctor because वो सब prayer करने लग गए, पूजा करने लग गए, सब हो लगा. The poor thing was suffering. पानी भर गया था, यूरिन बंद हो गया शायद प्रेशर से, और सांस भी बंद होने लगी. And of course, everybody knew that she was going, but she did not go. Then finally, after 24 hours, I took her to ICU. Then they took the water out of the abdomen, और वो 10-15 दिन और जी. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो जो 24 घंटे का टॉर्चर हमने दिया उनको, in the name of some kind of belief कि अब तो टाइम आ गया है, जाने वाली है, प्रेयर करते हैं, सब होता है. I will never forgive myself during my lifetime for those 24 hours that I subjected under some kind of a pressure of everyone around me, where people started praying and हो गया और बस जाने वाली और ये करो करो. So what I'm trying to put across by this personal example is this: just remember that your essays were a lot dealing and harping on past, which is a very good thing, but not logically taking it forward. So when you're writing an essay, similarly like political angle, corruption hai, I want a corruption-free India. What is the roadmap? Institutional reforms maybe. So you should have dealt with those. What I'm trying to put across here is that, you had 3 hours, one topic. In my university, we give 5 to 10 questions in 3 hours. So you could take 20 minutes and half an hour easily on a rough page to architect to design your essay, where you logically weave, the argument flows from one. I know there are too many arguments, it's not easy, easier said than done, but still you should have done. Because essay writing is persuasion after all, In the court, sometimes even an ethically wrong side, or sometimes even that side where truth is not there, also wins on the, of course, evidence-based. I know, I'm aware of the fact that Honorable Judge is sitting here, but sometimes purely on the basis of the power of persuasion, power of logic, the power of convincing in debates, in essay writings, in television channels these days. Political party किसको भेज रही है? Content जो भी हो, वही जाता है जो बाद में बोलती है कि हाँ 30 seconds में wrap up करो. तो 30 seconds में उसके पास इतने शब्द और power होती है कि दूसरी पार्टी वाले को 30 seconds में नीचा दिखाने की ही वो रखता है, ability रखता है. So that's my another this thing. Then third thing is that education part was missing. Not many people said that I'd like to have an educated India. See, you must understand, education is the key to everything. If we're talking about caste, gender, biases, all that, now how will that go? That will go only with education. So there is a lot of information, we are giving a lot of information, but we have to distinguish between information and education. Information is about facts. It's like you are in school, till class 12th, your syllabus is mostly about, you're given some facts, some details, and you write an answer. That what के answer लिख देना. Once you go to the university, it's a paradigm shift. It's a complete shift. From information, you get into analysis. You get into critical thinking. You write a paper. You are given different questions, unlike, So you are at a very critical juncture of the history of your life, where you are undergraduates, right? You're doing law, all of you. Where you graduate from school to college, and university is totally different. It is about reasoning, it is about education, it is about critical thinking. For me as a teacher, nowadays, as a teacher of university, I am irrelevant if I am unable to trigger that critical faculty in my students. Information तो है हर जगह. क्या करेंगे? MOOC courses हैं, YouTube पे lecture, सब कुछ है. मैं as a professor क्या दे रहा हूँ बच्चों को क्लास में जाके? That is what I should think. And I know my students will listen to me only when I have power of persuasion, conviction. Of course I read. Of course I analyze. And I am not giving them ready-made answers, but I am equipping their mind. I am awakening and triggering that critical and thinking faculty in mind, which can think for itself, where students can think for themselves. That is what should have come. So education is very important. You should have touched upon education. For example, a quiz will just, give you some information, know about facts. But the meaning of those facts, a quiz is not simply education, quiz is information. Now, what do you do with those facts? How do you derive meaning with those facts? Where do we put those facts to use? How do you analyze society, situations, people, whatever around you through those facts is analysis. That education will give you. What is happening these days is, because the kind of format we are in, where in my family also, I'm talking of my children also, too much of time on scrolling, you know. There's a BBC program which has very clearly established that reading ignites, lightens up certain faculty of our mind. BBC program aa chuka hai, scientific hai ye. This has already come out that it triggers certain faculties in your mind where you can be, you become analytical, you become thinking. You are not simply a parrot who is given information. And it's like subjects and citizens. What is the difference? You're law students. I am from Tehri. We were subjects, Nautiyalji, in Tehri. Raja tha, Raja ke subject the. Subjects have only obligations and duties, no rights. Citizens have rights. Rights, obligations and duties. But in order to realize and understand and exercise those rights properly and adequately, you need education, you need reasoning, you need power of answer. So there is a lot of crisis about of information these days. It is only the education that will equip you. सबके ऊपर crisis है. मुझे कुछ करना होता है, मेरे पास 100 information. आपको लगता है कि chat GPT और वो आ गया है, Gemini and whatever. But the point is, it is the educated student who exactly knows how to prompt and what to ask and how to ask and re-ask who will get the right answer. And let me tell you, I have tried to go through AI also after going through your copies. I wish students had done more original readings. Reading habits are going better. 3 hours with 2000 words, काफी कम है. We know that we are going through a crisis where my students in the university, they are increasingly losing the capacity to concentrate on something, even for half an hour, sir. क्योंकि उसकी दिमाग की रिवायरिंग कर दी है मीडिया ने. जो बार बार चैट देखते हैं ना, कितने लाइक आया, डिसलाइक हुआ. 3 घंटे शायद एक घटिया फिल्म में ही बैठ सकते हैं बस. उसके अलावा 2 घंटे का पेपर होता है पुरोहित साहब, आधा घंटे में बच्चे 2 घंटे के पेपर में आधा घंटे में बोल रहे हैं कि हो गया. पता नहीं कौन सा फॉर्मेट है, कौन सा मॉडल है. सो द एबिलिटी टू रीड, द एबिलिटी टू फोकस, योर माइंड्स ट्रेनिंग to absorb, you know, किसी ने 1 घंटा बोला है कि माइंड की ट्रेनिंग है कि 1 घंटा बिना ध्यान भटकाए उसको हम सुन सकें. वो जारी है because of these various media formats and social media. That is going, and that is a big crisis. Reading is taking a back seat all through, and debating or writing cannot happen without reading. Unless you read, you cannot write. So your essays showed a lot of passion, you know, but this passion has to be linked with the rigor of, you know, the rigor of discipline, the rigor of reason, the powerful logic of argument, and with the discipline of reading. So you keep dreaming, it is very important, I think. But keep reasoning and keep reading. Reading is very important. Books will never be, you know, sacrificed for anything else. It has been proven. There is a sociologist called Neil Postman. He has studied various societies, groups that are basically getting information through TV, radio, and print. Print society को उन्होंने कहा कि stable society. इसमें सब आ चुके हैं. बहुत सारी स्टडीज आ चुकी हैं. The reading is very important. So a lot of our writings reflected, you know, readings, but readings from where? कुछ Google से, कुछ इधर से उधर से. Original text का कोई alternative नहीं है. So keep dreaming, but keep reading, keep reasoning. Thank you very much.